I think it is fun. Like it's fun to just see it could be 5 times during your day. You're now getting notified that a customer said something really positive about you personally online or left feedback about the work you did. And you could take pride in that.
This is the PMP Industry Insider Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome out to another episode of the PMP Industry Insider Podcast, where we take a look at what is changing in the pest and lawn industries, and we take you to the front lines to those that are driving those changes. I'm Donnie Shelton, owner of Triangle Home Services, which has Triangle Pest as well as Triangle Lawn. And with me is, as always, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, for, I don't know. Maybe, can you keep that one going, Dan? With me is Mr. Dan Gordon. Dan, would you like to say good morning, introduce yourself? You need to write this down because I know you forget. So you need to introduce yourself, talk about our sponsors, talk about the topic, and our special guest. So it's 4 things. Got it?
So we're going to do an episode where we actually pre-recorded the sponsor items, and I said no. We have too much fun stumbling over it, and But
Dan never reads ever.
That's right.
No.
Anyway, it's Dan Gordon from PCO Bookkeepers and M&A Specialists. We specialize in outsourced CFO work, accounting, and tax work for pest and lawn, as well as exit planning, brokerage, that kind of thing. And so today, as every day this year, we have 3 sponsors, terrific people. If you're interested in marketing, digital and otherwise, that would be Coalmarch, and they are offering the first free month to podcast listeners. So if you're interested in that, visit them at coalmarch.com/podcast. The next one is PestSure, who provides insurance for the pest industry as well as lawn industry. They do workers' comp, auto, general liability, and a host of other things. If you're interested in finding out about industry-specific insurance, that's pestsure.com. And finally, new one for this year, but I see them at all the shows, actually for quite a while. It's Voice for Pest, and they are a industry leader in designing and implementing voice solutions for pest control companies coast to coast. Learn more at voiceforpest.com/podcast. And finally, if you're interested in one of our peer groups, which is getting quite a bit of, we're getting quite a bit of notoriety, and we've probably got 7 or 8 groups going with, 80 people or so. Go back and listen to episode 136. Our facilitator, David Billingsley, takes care of those groups. He does an amazing job, and he explains exactly how they work on episode 136. And I guess, do we have any time left for what we were going to talk about today and our guest?
I don't know. It's a great question.
Today we're empowering pest control techs, and this is long overdue because this is a company that I've been watching from afar and just hearing amazing things about. The power of automated real-time data, and our guest is Taylor Olson. He's the CEO and co-founder of Applause, where he's leading change to help home services businesses gain deeper insights into their customers, motivating employees through real-time incentives and recognition. A successful entrepreneur with a passion for building solutions that drive growth. Taylor previously co-founded Slingshot, and I didn't know this, Taylor, with a law degree from UCLA and a business degree from BYU. Why not practice law? There wasn't enough money in it? What?
Short answer, too boring. It was the wrong career path, but led me to the right one. So I don't regret it.
Great.
Yeah.
So anyway, Taylor's leadership reflects a commitment to empowering businesses to succeed through smarter operations and stronger employee engagement. And I really want to get into this because that's what Applause is all about. But I guess welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
Honor,
a little out of order.
always admired the work that you do, Dan, Donnie, and Dan. So just, honored to be here. Excited to talk to your guests. I'm sure we have some customers out there that use Applause, so hopefully for them too, I can maybe share some of the new features that we're working on that they didn't know about, but just excited to top shop.
We have lots of clients who are using it, so that's how I've heard.
I would be one of them. So we use Applause here at Triangle. We love it. We've been using it for a couple of years now, and it's
Awesome.
totally changed.
Awesome. I thought I saw the name come in. We're almost up to 1,000 companies, believe it or not, that are using
Wow.
applause.
And how many
And
of those are Pest versus
oh,
conventional?
probably half. Yeah,
Really?
probably 50%. A lot of lawn. We've got a little bit of traction in some other industries, starting to grow in HVAC and plumbing, but
Mhm.
pest is where like my background is, my heart is, and so it's just brought a smile to my face that that's the place the app's gotten the most traction.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
No, that's
So,
great. That's great. So why don't we get into that now? Like, and can you just walk through briefly kind of your background? Obviously,
Yeah,
you saw the bad of being an attorney. By the way, it's funny that you did that because I took the LSAT and was this close from going to
really.
law school, and I read a book. I read a book right before I pulled the trigger that talked about what attorneys did, and I was like, oh no, 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 no,
Yes,
that is
yes.
not going to be good for me.
You were smarter than me. I can't tell you after having gone through it, and if there's any attorneys that are listening, like no offense to the craft. I have a
No,
lot of
no.
respect for it, but I've probably talked out of going to law school 10 to 20 people because they need what you found, Donnie. They need to know what the actual day-to-day work is. And it is not what you see on TV. Like it's such a small portion of
Yeah.
attorneys in general, and your work is in a courtroom, a deposition, a fact-finding mission. It is research and writing memos. I mean,
I
that's what it is.
100% was on that. I was like hook, line, and sinker. Man, I'm going to be in a courtroom. I'm going to be arguing cases. It's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun. And I read that book. I go, oh, oh, no, 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 no. Like details? No, that's probably not good.
Yeah.
we deal with lots of attorneys in the M&A practice, and the back and forth, the
Oh,
Oh,
minutia that
yeah.
they get involved with, it just, my head's going to
it's
explode.
a perverse incentive because it's
You
billable
go by
hours
the
for the
hour.
most
It
part,
Right,
and
is.
they're
It
very
exactly.
is.
risk adverse, and
Yep.
it's tough. I blame my departure into law school. I blame on my aunt, who is a saint, but she would watch me after school when I was in fifth, sixth grade, and every day, on her TV, black and white was a Perry Mason rerun. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
would just
Yeah.
sit there and watch it. And if you ever seen that show, every episode's the same. They don't know who, they have the wrong person. They don't know who killed the person.
Oh, yeah.
Perry Mason trips them up on the stand and they admit they're guilty. And
And you're like,
that's
I'm
what I
going to be
thought.
that guy.
That's going to be
Yeah.
Perry Mason.
So,
Yeah,
but it
maybe.
it teaches you, I think. So, yeah, maybe just backing up. I sold pest control door to door when I was 18.
Uh-huh.
That helped pay the way. I grew up LDS for my LDS mission.
Uh-huh.
I sold a summer when I got back, and then I always wanted to be an attorney. So going to like doing my undergrad at BYU in business wasn't really about career. It was just, oh, I can get whatever undergrad I want because there's no requirement for law school like there is in some other grad schools.
Right.
And I
Uh-huh.
just enjoyed business. So they had an entrepreneurship track. At the time I went to BYU, they were ranked fifth nationally. It was a really fun program.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, I ended up going to UCLA for law school. It took me about a year to admit that I'd made a bad decision and I did not want to be an
A,
attorney.
a, a year into it or a year after you
A
graduate?
year into it.
Okay.
So I'm into it and I'm like, uh-oh, I'm accumulating hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt.
Right.
And the only way to pay that off is a career path that I actually don't think I want. And
Mm-hmm.
so in some ways, I think an act of desperation, I did the only other thing that had ever been on my mind and that I enjoyed was I said, maybe I can be a founder, make a career out of being an entrepreneur. And that was when Slingshot was born. I had the confidence to start Slingshot while in law school, and I still wanted to finish. So I finished my degree because I had started 4 or 5 businesses at BYU as an undergrad. So I kind of knew like this is going to overtake my life. It's going to be nothing but school and the business, but I was up for the challenge. And lucky enough, Slingshot worked and I didn't have to practice law. Uh,
So you
that
never
was
practiced one day of law.
I never did. I never even took the bar. And everyone would
Uh,
always ask me, why don't you take the bar, Taylor? And I said, because I've reached a point in life where earning the next credential isn't for me. I don't need the title, the license. Like, I know I'm not going to practice. It'd be a 6 month commitment to prep for the bar. I was already
Mm-hmm.
into Slingshot a year and a half at that point. It was clearly working. And I wanted to be a founder. I
Yeah.
loved it. So it was the
Yeah.
right decision for me. And one of the things looking back that I don't regret going because it was so implanted in my mind as this is what I wanted to do with my life that shutting that door made it so when I took the leap to be a founder, the ship was burned. There was no backup plan. There was no, well, maybe I should have been an attorney. It was just, I got to figure it out. And as both of you know, starting a business, there's those moments when you just got to figure it out and get honest with yourself and make it work. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the
Yeah.
background.
Good deal. So, what's the story on applause? So, most people know about Slingshot. I guess most people
Yeah.
know about applause, other than I did my research for the podcast today. But again, I've been talking to people who have just been bringing it up to me. Have you heard about this program, Applause, and what it does and whatnot? So, give us
Yeah.
a story. What inspired it? How does it work?
Yeah, it was Workwave had acquired Slingshot in 2021. I took a little bit of time off. I thought that I wanted to go teach, so I'm putting a syllabus together. I was going to teach an entrepreneurship course at the U of U. I was working on the syllabus that was a year out. So that's sort of how quickly a large institution goes, a year in advance. I'm planning and started to get bored
Mhm.
and started to get the itch and started to feel like maybe being a repeat founder was something I would enjoy doing with my life. I was 37 at the time. And of all the ideas I'd collected or heard from owners of a solution they would love to see that didn't exist, the one that always came back to me was this sort of need that I felt as an owner. I felt it from my customers. I saw the flip side in my family. It was that hourly service workers are a really tough group to manage, to get them to think like an owner and act like an owner. And then they also, when you really talk to them over a beer and they're honest, they frequently feel under recognized and underappreciated. They probably have more to give, but they're doing just enough. And I wanted to help solve that problem. Because as an owner, when I had at peak, we had 500 hourly call center reps at Slingshot. I mean, it was a big machine. And I frequently would listen to the calls on my own, and you just hear some interactions and you're like, dang it, like that was not how I would have liked my company to represent a customer. We implemented tools like recognition programs, and nothing really moved the needle. And so I wanted to do something about it. And then on the flip side, there'd be times, I don't know if this ever happened to Triangle, Donnie, or you guys have clients that experienced it. They would call Slingshot if we were doing after hour sales, and say, hey guys, I need you to turn it off. I love what you're doing, but I'm short on techs. My best tech just quit, or I literally cannot take the job. So just turn it off.
Uh-huh.
And so I'd hear the pain from them.
We had a
And
lot of clients during COVID who basically said, we got to stop marketing because we can't handle it. It just,
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm
too
convinced the
much.
best way to improve sales is to go down on staffing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
It's a
like when we
cruel
lose
joke by the
people,
universe.
when we lose people, it's like it goes crazy. I'm just like, oh, anyway,
So
it's
true.
how it works. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Um, no, no. And so, like, the other side of the coin. So, I'm like, as an owner, I'm feeling with a lot of listeners, and y'all have felt like, I wish I had a tool that could make it easy to motivate and inspire my team to treat customers well, show up and be their best selves every day. And then on the flip side, my dad was an HVAC guy. He did sales and servicing, and spent nearly 20 years in that job, made around 50 grand a year. And I would just hear from him, he just, he just felt under recognized and underpaid. And he felt underutilized. And it wasn't, I didn't feel like my dad took a great pride or felt really accomplished in his career. And I didn't feel like he showed up and gave his best. It wasn't a great part of his life. And I really felt for him. He was the dad that was at every game. He coached my little league games. I loved him. Part of the reason that I decided to sell Slingshot is I wanted to retire my dad and give him the life that he didn't have. And he ended up passing unexpectedly from a heart attack a
Um,
little bit before we sold. And
um,
so just the
so,
timing of it, it really didn't sit well. And back to sort of thinking about, hey, what I wanted to do after Slingshot, I just felt like, you know what? I think there is a tool that simultaneously can help owners get the most out of their field service crew and can make the service tech like my dad feel better about their job, do more work, get more recognition, maybe make a little more money. And there's 10 million guys out there like my dad that are in field services in the
Yeah.
US. And so part of our mission is to go out there and improve the lives of a million technicians and certainly make it a lot easier on management to get the most out of them. So that was sort of the full impetus to it. I learned some good lessons at Slingshot. I bet you guys can relate, maybe a lot of the listeners, that you get 10 years into a career and you learn some things. You got the scar
Yeah.
tissue and you make better
Hmm.
decisions. And so setting up Applause was 10 years of founder learnings that we got to do a lot of things, in my opinion, the right way. And one of them was having a good capital partner from day one. If you're going to really build great software, it's an investment. It costs a lot of money. You're not going to be cash flow positive. And so we had good capital partners from day one, and we're just off to the races.
So
Good.
tell us exactly like how does applause work? What are all of the things that motivate field service workers, and why is it attractive to owners or managers to use it?
Yeah. Back to, I think you guys mentioned this at the beginning. We really believe in automation. Owners are busy. A lot of folks get into pest control and lawn because they don't want to sit behind a computer all day. So I think if you hand them a service or software that they constantly have to do work in to get value out of it, that's kind of halfway there. So I bring that up because from the beginning, we wanted everything possible to be automated. So what we started with was we said, hey, the best way to fuel recognition and measure performance for a technician is to get the feedback from the customer. They were on their property, they were in the home. The customer's going to have an opinion on it.
Hmm.
So we decided to start with a lot of the customer engagement stuff and said after the tech leaves the home, we'll tie into your CRM, we'll automatically send out a text message. And then when the customer clicks it, a number of things can happen based on what the company's needs are. They can get 1 through 10 net promoter score, CSAT feedback on the tech. They can offer up an opportunity for the customer to leave a tip if they want to do that to incentivize or reward the tech if they treated them well. They can ask for a Google review or social review. They can offer an upsell or additional lead. So we'll look in the CRM and we'll say, what services do you offer that this customer doesn't have? If there's a priority ranking of what you want to put in front of the customer, we'll use that automatically. Or we can preset it up in the software to show them, like, oh, it's mosquito season or it's rodent season. So that we offer up a lead. And then the fifth is referrals. So we remind customers of the referral program and make it easy to submit a referral. So those five things can happen. And then all five of those can be used to reward the technician, to give them feedback that they did great and give them a bonus in money. And that happens instantly and automatically. So the owner has connected their bank account to Applause and decided, do I want to offer little spiffs for any of these things? The most common is Google reviews. I'll give $5 for every 5 star. When that happens, if you put yourself in the technician's shoes, I treated a customer. I was friendly. I did a good job. I'm leaving. I get an alert on my Applause app. Oh, look at all this nice things the customer said about me, and I just made $5. It gives them a little fuel throughout the day. So that was kind of where it started.
So the program actually goes out to Google to get it, or do you how does the program know that it got the review? It
Yeah, good question. So we take 5 to 10 pieces of data to triangulate to who the technician was that serviced that customer and know that the Google review came in. We can connect via an API to the Google My Business page. So you set that up when you onboard. And we can instantly see that a new review came in. We could pull the data so we could see customer name, what they said, and then the timestamp. And that allows us to map the timestamp to the CRM when the job was complete. And generally, what happens is the customer says the name of the technician in the review. And that's a strong indicator, of course. And then we do a match and everything gets
Yeah.
populated.
That's
It's
awesome.
usually pretty good. I mean, from an end user perspective, it's pretty rare that it does not find a match, but it does happen, but it's pretty rare. But most of the time, it's spot on. We don't,
Yeah.
going back to the whole triangulating part. But talk me through. Any particular stories? I mean, listen, I can speak for Triangle on that. I remember when we turned Applause on, like our reviews, we 10x'd our reviews mainly because
Yeah.
we automated it completely. Before it
Yep.
was a little bit manual, and technicians were having to ask for them, and then we just kind of took that out of their hands and just automatically asked for it. And much like what you said, Taylor, I mean, they started seeing the benefits of, because we do spiff on the Triangle side. We spiff. We basically allow the customer to spend our money. Which they would gladly do.
They
Because
love it.
we say,
Yeah.
hey, look, if they did a great job, we will certainly spiff them, and you don't have to pay for it. All you got to do is leave a review, and yada yada yada, and it works very well. I mean, I've been super impressed at how well it's been able to
So
take a
the customer has so you should hook your wife up to this thing because she's going to spend your money anyway.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's pretty impressive. So the overall idea, I mean, I love it, and that's these other parts that you're talking about, Taylor, as far as like what all applause does. Some of that stuff is new. I don't know that we use all of those features, but it's great. And I mean, at least from an owner's perspective, for us, the reviews were a huge hit for us. Can you talk a little bit about how this, I mean, I know you talked a little bit about, from an owner's perspective, the value add. Can you go a little bit deeper into, besides reviews, you talked about referrals, you talked about a few other things that it does. Can you just kind of walk through each one of those a little bit in depth? I mean, not super in depth, but just a big overview, I guess, a little bit deeper on that.
Yeah,
Here's
for
a
sure.
user who hasn't read the user manual, so he wants the download from you right
Oh
now.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Yep.
And I had someone knocking on, I have my dog that knows every time he comes into my office, I work from home, he gets a little biscuit. And he was out there just attacking my door while you were talking. So could I ask you just to rewind for like 10 seconds? I heard that you want a deeper dive on referrals. And did you say one other part, Donnie?
Yeah, so we utilize the program for reviews. I was just wanted you to kind of talk through some of the other things that Applause does, because it does a lot more than just reviews, and I just maybe kind of maybe a little bit a little bit more of an overview of the other features that Applause
Yeah.
actually accomplishes.
I'd start with the simplest. I mean, the simplest is the 1 through 10 feedback on how the tech did. That can be articulated however the company wants. They can ask it as an NPS question, which is your likelihood to refer based on the service you had, or just how did the tech do. That one is the customer clicking 1 through 10. And the reason we start there is because we don't want to be asking the customer to do other things if they're not happy. So if they don't hit a 9 or a 10, we're not going to show them the additional screens. We're going to apologize that they didn't have a great service, and we're going to let them know we're going to follow up. That immediately alerts the branch manager and the technician so they can go make it right. So that's one. I'd also say on that one, just, NPS and surveys like that have been around for decades. It's not necessarily new, but the way that we've done it, uh, through text message and email, we're generally getting twice as many customers to respond versus whatever tool the company was using before. And believe it or not, we have customers that were having their CSRs call customers randomly to get 1 through 10 feedback score. And you can imagine how much that costs,
Right.
and how long it takes. And so for a lot of customers, they're equally surprised, as you said, Donnie, about the number of Google reviews. They're like, oh, wow, we are getting a lot of good feedback on just the Net Promoter Score. So that's one. You can attach a little bonus there. A lot of companies will say, hey, if you get a 10 and there's a comment, that sort of helps us know you probably went above and beyond for the customer. We're going to give you a little spiff on that. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can get a tip. That was the first little feature that we rolled out with. So we learned quickly on the technician getting a tip and that being in the flow. Don't push it. There's tip fatigue. It's polarizing. So
Mm-hmm.
the way that it's viewed by the customer, it defaults to 0, and we very clearly say they're appreciated but never expected, and it's
Mm-hmm.
on 0 already. And so you can just submit and move on. But it's there. If someone wants to tip, they can just click the 10 and it records Apple Pay or Google Pay from their phone, and they can leave an instant tip. So that's the third. And then let's go to the lead piece. That one came from customers just getting feedback. Obviously, you guys know I think I saw a field routes report that just came out on the state of the industry, and it's the same thing every time. What do most pest control owners want? They want to grow. We all want to grow. We're in this for growth. We're ambitious. We want to grow our business. And so helping, owners get more leads in a very cost efficient way, which is a current customer that wants and needs another service they offer, that, yeah, that was that other piece. And that one can dynamically populate it. So there's just no work required. Or if a marketing manager says, we just know in these months, these are the services that we want to put in front of our customers that don't have it, they can preset it up in Applause so that it shows that way. And then
But
referrals,
do they get emails, or how do you do
yeah.
that? And where does the technician fall in here, or he doesn't?
Oh, good question. Yeah, so it's all through that initial text message that goes out after the technician leaves the home. It will be in that workflow. So a common workflow that a customer will use is ask the homeowner if they were happy, the 1 through 10. If they hit a 9 for 10, let's show them an add-on service that we offer. Let's show them a termite inspection. Let's show them voles. Um, and then just like the NPS survey, just like a Google review, if you want to spiff the technician on the customer signing up for that service, you can. And so the way that would generally work is the technicians know. I'd be curious, like what it is for you right now, Donnie. Like in Raleigh, where Triangle is, what is the add-on service that makes the most sense right now outside of general pest?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, a lot of times we do mosquito. I mean, mosquito's the easy add-on,
Okay.
because a lot of our customers right now in the fall, of course, that's not going to be the thing. We also do lawn, so we'll pick up like aeration, seeding, those types of things. But generally speaking, for the quick add-on, it's usually mosquito. That's where we tend to,
Yep.
for our customers, and it works. I mean, listen, I love that service. So,
Yeah, it
so
is a
yeah,
great service. I use it at
yeah.
my house. I mean, so like back to your question, Dan. The technician will know, oh, it's mosquito season. That's an add-on we want to let our current customers know about. And so the good ones will be talking about it and letting the customer know if they see them on site. Hey, by the way, did you know we do this? You'll get a text afterwards. You can learn more. And in those cases, the owner, branch manager may want to give a little spit to help promote the technician to be talking about this add-on.
Mhm.
So that's really the idea is that if the technicians are rewarded even in small ways. It makes them excited to do great work. They're more likely to have a positive interaction with the customer. And then the end result is the business is getting wins. They're getting feedback, they're getting reviews, they're getting leads, they're getting referrals. And that's sort of been the goal from day one.
So you have the API into Google. Do you have one for PestPack field routes, Real Green, all the
Oh, yeah.
CRMs that are out there? Okay.
It's surprising how many there are because we know about the big ones you just
Okay.
mentioned, but we are integrated now into 35 different field service CRMs. And
Yeah.
So in other like HVAC and plumbing, heating, that kind of thing too.
yeah, and even in lawn and pest, I mean, you think about Aspire, Field Routes, Brio Stack,
Yeah.
Gorilla Desk, Service Autopilot, and then yes, in HVAC, plumbing, and electric.
One thing I do want to talk about, and I mean, we're not close to the end or anything, but I want to spend some time on it, which I think we've kind of glossed over is the dashboard for the technician. And, you talk about job satisfaction and turnover, and these, the dashboards I think are, and I'm not going to bring them up here on the podcast, but if you've used Applause or currently using Applause, for me personally, I like the dashboards. I like how it puts that data in for the technician. Can you just talk through the dashboard, like what it does and, um,
Yeah,
why it's important for the technician? Because I think it's a key part of Applause.
yeah, yeah. No, thank you for bringing it up. We sort of goes back to some of our beliefs from the beginning that we needed to get the technicians' attention in order for this whole thing to work and motivate them. And I'd learned at Slingshot that if you're going to do a recognition program and it's points and it's gift cards, it's okay. Some people will look at it, but what the real power users on my recognition program at Slingshot were doing, 90% of them were redeeming their points for a Visa cash card and Amazon gift card. And they really wanted money, is what those were equivalent to money. And so from day one at Applause, we said, if we want to get the tech's attention, it's not points and gift cards, it's money. Let's do the work to be a fintech, which was a lot of work on the plumbing side and software side of our business because you have to sit on top of a bank to move money in the way that we do. And that's how it works. So the second a Google review comes in, the award paid by their employer is going to go straight into the mobile app for the tech. They'll get an alert. They'll see they just made $5. They log in, they can accumulate some money in there. They can cash out anytime. Feels similar to like a Venmo or a Cash App in that regard. And that ended up being the key to getting their attention, was putting money in there. And so once we had their attention, then we could do some of the things you're talking about, Donnie, with like what do we show them that's going to be the most motivating? Right now, what we're showing is we call it 3 focus metrics. It's a whole nother product that maybe we can get into. It's a technician scorecard product where they see the core KPIs that they're judged on, and they see how they're tracking towards their goal. That's their first screen. And then they can go into an activity feed and see all the recognition they've got, all the money they've earned. They can go into the leaderboards. They can see how they're ranking against the other techs. That one gets a lot of action. Those are sort of the main experiences the technician's having. But what back to my original point, at the top of the screen for the technician is how much money they've earned in applause and one button to cash it out if they want. So yeah, that's basically what they're seeing, Donnie.
No, and I think those are, the key part is getting the technicians engaged, right, and getting it to mean something. I can't tell you how many times we've rolled out a tool, and if the technicians don't bite off on it, it doesn't matter how great it is, it just doesn't work,
But it's
right?
also
And
the whole
so,
gamification.
sure,
Everything is a game now, which is it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Make
you
it
just
fun.
I mean, and the thing that I love is I do go back to like my dad thinking of him using the tool. I think it is fun. Like it's fun to just see it could be 5 times during your day. You're now getting notified that a customer said something really positive about you personally online
hmm
or left feedback about the work you did. And you could take pride in that. And it's
So
fun.
you
And
get a
then
push every time somebody, if you have it set up right, your phone
totally.
just that's pretty
Yep. So that's pretty much the technician's experience. We are noticing that the techs log in or look at applause on average 4 to 5 times per day.
really.
So it's a good amount of attention, and we're excited to continue to build out things that make sense for them and owners, now that we have their attention in a meaningful way.
No, that's great. We're getting close to the end here, but before we leave, I just want to, if someone's listening to this podcast and they're interested in obviously learning more about applause, or even just kind of data driven strategies in general, can you just kind of walk through? Here's some things that you need to think about, and here's some things you need to consider if this is a path you want to go down, and maybe just some quick lessons learned of how to approach it, and what would be a good way to implement it versus, because I'm sure, like any tool, right, there's a good way to implement it and there's a not so good way.
And usually
Yeah.
what happens with a lot of guys is they get all excited about it and then they say, "Oh man, now I got to do it." And it
Yeah.
sticks.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe walk
Yes,
through that. It would be good.
totally. I would say Uh, if you can, if you're an owner listening, try to get someone on your team to own the implementation that's not you. They'll have
hmm
more time. They'll be able to, walk through the implementation with us. It's not overly complicated in terms of the features that I just explained. It's really about connecting to the Google My Business profile and making sure that whoever has the login credentials or API key can get those to us. And then integrating with the core CRM.
Right.
And again, it's just have the API keys, and then we could take it from there.
Right.
That's really the main thing. We'll populate all the technicians automatically, but someone, on their side is going to need to go edit it, It's
hmm
sort of like with AI. Maybe that's the right analogy. We will do most of the work, but it's probably not going to be perfect during implementation. So we need you to go edit the AI output before we
Right.
go live.
Yeah.
That's probably like the two recommendations. And then lastly, I would say, Donnie, back to the money. Some owners are really reluctant to offer spiffs on any of these things, I would recommend trying it even a small amount. It does matter. We've noticed,
What's the reservation? I would have reservations about asking my customers to tip my employees, but I'd
yeah,
have no reservations about tipping them myself, or like Donnie does, has the customer spend his money.
Right.
I think the reservation is they've heard how many Google reviews can come after implementing applause, and they're nervous that they're going to be paying out a ton of money to their technicians. What we usually talk them through is, hey, let's talk about your incentive budget or your bonus budget. Let's not add more to it. Let's just shift it and let's put it into the automated incentive and applause. So I always recommend to do a little bit of money there. It is meaningful for the
Yeah, I
tech. And
mean,
there's a
you can quantify the number of reviews and what it's worth. So if you're hemming and hawing over $5 and geez, now I'm going to get 1,000 and it's going to cost me $5,000. That's terrific, right?
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
Huge, you
I
know?
would challenge someone that's listening to show me the math where that does not make sense,
Yeah, it
because I
totally
mean
makes
it's the
sense.
when you look at the amount of money that it's going to make you, and even with SEO and just all the other things that that are not necessarily directly attributable to the number of views that you have, but just it it would be hard pressed for anyone to say, well, that's not worth $5. That's just
Yeah.
ridiculous, But
yeah.
anyway,
We
I
have a
I
client who
hun-
gives away 25 for a review.
wow,
I've seen that. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
100% agree with it. And just go, I mean, if you're an owner, go Google pest control in your city and just see how you're doing. I
right.
mean, what does the competition have on review count and star ratings, and who would you call if you were a
Right.
customer based on what
Exactly.
that shows,
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Um,
And the one thing that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, but we should absolutely start thinking about. I know for me personally, like I look at my own habits, and it used to be that I was all Google. Now I'm like 60/40. 60
okay.
being chat, open AI, and it's doing the research for me, and the
Yeah.
other 40 is Google. And so we have to start thinking about optimizing for really AI, right? Because
Yeah.
they're going to be the ones that's making the recommendation. And AI is not stupid, right? It's looking at a ton of different signals. And the thing about AI is it can hold, literally millions of things into the calculus all at one time. And so it's a big part in my mind. I've got to convince the AI agent that we're the company. And so anyway, that's a bigger conversation maybe for another episode. But if you're listening, it absolutely should be something that you're starting to think about, because the old days of like, hey, we're just gonna have a we're gonna get to this when we can. And I just, again, for me personally, it's just not the way I work now. I mean, I've gotten OpenAI so integrated in my day to day, it's rare that I go to Google. I mean, not always, but I mean, it's just
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near as much time on that platform as I used to be. So just things. So anyway, okay, Taylor, this has been fantastic. Really appreciate you coming out. Dan, anything to add? Questions before we finish out?
Yeah. Taylor, are you going to be at Pest World?
Oh yeah.
What
Yeah,
are you
we'll be
doing
there.
Wednesday night? Actually, for all of our listeners and Taylor, we have 3 buses going to Popstroke. We're having a mini golf tournament, and the winner gets $1,500 to their favorite charity, and we'll have the buses out there. If you're interested in going, it would be 2 people per company. Those are the teams. We have 160 spots. We've already filled about 130. We'd love to have you or anyone else. And if you're interested, just email me. It's dan@pcobookkeepers.com, and I will forward it to the right people and get you on one of the buses. And
Also, Dan said it was free booze. And by the
free
way,
booze,
it's
free
free
food,
booze, free
free mini
food.
golf.
Yeah.
It's
And
going to
I
be a
will be
blast.
at that.
And Donnie will
Dan,
be there.
Dan
And
will be.
Taylor,
Dan
we
was
would
like,
love to have
out of
you.
it, Donnie, you have to come. So I'm going to be there for better, for worse. If you see me, you can tell me how awesome Dan is. But anyway, Taylor, it would be great to have you there as well, and really appreciate you coming on the podcast. Just a reminder, all the things that we talked about will be available on the podcast website. Just take a look at pmpindustryinsider.com. Take a look under show notes. And as always, we appreciate any reviews, oddly enough, that you have to give us. Maybe we can put a clause in for the podcast.
And I get $5 for each
Yeah,
one of them.
yeah, exactly. And
So,
Dad will gladly pay you money
or incentivize the guest.
Yeah, exactly.
How many reviews come within 24 hours of this podcast dropping? I get $5 for each one.
Oh, I love it. I love it. With that, we're going to sign off. We'll see y'all next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.